due to budgetary constraints, we are not able to show you the couple days before the tournament. They use these text crawls sparingly, at least, but it's disappointing when the party is going to just paint the town red and they're super excited in order to actually have a couple days off, but we don't get to see it. Then we get this, and it's like, it really feels like we need some music here. Now, depending on the perspective, you kind of get an idea of what they're kind of saying here. I left it with Claude just because this is really Claude's moment here. Rena's text is almost identical, except she's talking about Claude. Time. Let's get going. Well, it's just like me. Everybody else says it's like relaxed and just turn to them blank-faced and go, I'm totally fine. Everything's good. Fun thing about this whole waking up at the hotel, because again, it's like, yeah, the hotel is going to wake us up. Apparently not. The manager's going like, everybody else is gone and already at the castle there. You better hurry up. We'll talk about those entrants. Ooh boy. Excuse me? Okay, never mind. Apparently you just need to know to go into the castle, because it should be pretty easy in order to get a seat. The only reason we're in the bar, though, is, hey, you can get a little bit of information about, well, the scene that happened between Rena, Sophia, and Diaz. Because, of course, Claude doesn't know. Oh well. Who else do you know that has blue hair? Don't call me son. Alright, moving on. We get a little bit of a change here because we really need to depict the excitement of everything happening here. Like wanting ice cream. Oh, the one day? I can stretch that ridiculously far. Love that they call him a scalper. Like, they even had that in this early translation. Fantastic. Now we can head over to the Colosseum and get things going there. The castle has changed around slightly. Like if we were to go to the laboratory, I believe everybody is gone from there. Oh, poor soldier. Have to be on duty. I will be in everyone's way. The other thing is, the castle is now mostly blocked off. Just check down here if everybody's gone. Well, apart from the guard. Oh, nope. Still around. But now they have more appropriate dialogue. Okay, there we go. except the kid's gone. All the rooms. Really, except for, the room that I was just in. Oh boy. Making the rounds. But I can still bother the throne, apparently. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Everything's fine. Alright, alright. This game is passive-aggressive in terms of how I play things. I go slow, I go exhaustive. And the game goes, stop being that way and just get to where you need to go. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's not like there is an actual time limit in order to get over here. There's so many things happening. Like the amount of changes and things to take a look at throughout this section of the tournament. It's quite commendable what they were able to do, honestly. Like, they spent a great amount of time in order to get this going. Like, there's a bunch of repeated dialogue, of course, but even in this specific room, trying to combine the word specific in particular, like, yeah, you have Rena going like, oh, your friend is entering the tournament, versus Claude's perspective of, hey, he's entering the tournament. I love all of the entrants who are exactly the same. We got all of the clone soldiers. Mm-hmm. Really? Another cocky soldier. No, common sense is dead. Didn't you know that? Playing this in the future. Even having the soldier right over here is a fair touch in terms of like, okay, you really want to go out and see the arena, but no, we're going to block things off. And on top of that, hey, if there was another entrance for people to get into that didn't mean that they had to get their tickets checked, people would take advantage of that. And with that, we are stripped clean. Love that he doesn't tell us about the items. We won't know until we actually get them. Because technically we got the equipment, but not the items yet. It's strange that way. Now they give Diaz special exceptions here, but even with combining the two perspectives, the two playthroughs together, we really don't get an idea of like what exception he was allowed to have, other than Diaz is the most awesome person and we want to make sure he's in the tournament no matter what. Like, honestly, Diaz is kind of the level-headed here. It's just like, I have a problem. Rena kind of helped me with it. So what? It's a really messed up way of taking things. Like, Claude is someone who is a little bit more, like, wants to do things for himself. He is his own person. So Rena kind of getting in the way of that, yeah, it kind of rubs that the wrong way. Whereas if Rena didn't do what she did, then probably Diaz and Claude would never be able to actually properly fight each other. Well, anyway. With Rena out of the picture, briefly, let's get Claude back into this and get him going. Friends, he says. Like, at this part of my life, I'm going like, friends is such a weird word when it comes to what people define as such. So what's Diaz's definition of a friend? More acquaintances than anything. Now, Diaz, well, he's pretty much exactly the same as he was right when he left the forest, down to whatever HP he had left. So if you want to mess around with him a little bit more, or if you didn't take the advantage of taking his equipment, you can do that. It's not like it matters right now anyway. So, the waiting room, you can see all of these lovely sprites that are here, including Zand over here doing image training. Another soldier. You have the guy at the bottom who is the guy who was pestering Celine right before we met her. Like, I'm all for reusing. I just find it's funny that we have, like, more prominent sprites here from, like, past events. And the other odd thing is that we have 5 people to talk to, not including the guard. And right when you talk to 4 of them is when things get moving. Which is like, oh, I really wanted to talk with that 5th person. He must have valuable things to say. If it was another game, yes. In this case, not really. But it almost feels like with this waiting room, yeah, we've got an interesting cast of people that we are going to be fighting against. Yeah. So why are you two here in the waiting room? You're not in the tournament at all. Yeah, so whatever items we get have to be, are the only ones we're going to get for the entire tournament. So if you use them in the first match, they won't be replenished for the next one. Stoning and paralysis will be deemed a fall. As in, hey, if your enemy is actually someone who is able to do those status ailments on you, that's a cheap way in order to lose. The other thing is that we can't equip any accessories. So we can't even defend ourselves against that if that was to come up. Now the fresh syrup is kind of awesome because it's a full heal. The attack vial is different, and then you have the violence pill. Invokes either a heaven or a hell. You want to introduce gambling into a serious gamble into your fights? Pick up some violence pills. It's great. Main specialties being air slash and head splitter for very clear reasons. The other thing, yeah, I think we're good. Like I could do stuff with the skills, but I think we're good now. Man, look at all the empty seats that are there. Should be filled up with more sprites. But, you know, limitations of hardware. All the people who were complaining about not being able to get tickets, well, look at all the empty seats that are there. You totally could have gotten tickets. Welcome to the first round of the tournament.
The enemy.
The enemy.
Air
Amon Rao.
Air slash. Air slash. Air
Just to
slash.
be very, very
Air
careful
slash.
with this, because we do have to get through multiple rounds with just Claude. The first person just being a soldier type is
Air
simple to
slash.
deal with. He does no special abilities whatsoever. But yeah, if you want to take it easy, air slash is the way to go. Might put in some head splitters here and there. I'm just not taking any chances. The first round, nothing really to write home about. Now, I definitely know on replays of this section here, it is rather annoying that we have to kind of do the whole make it feel like an actual tournament of just like, yeah, we have to wait until our next fight. But it's realistic. Meanwhile, Rena. Yeah, remember the last little girl that Diaz talked to? Amen to that. If there were actually entrants in the tournament, they wouldn't be in town, they would be at the castle. But, you know, we have to do this whole song and dance here. Just by hunch. There really isn't any other way to explain it. Yeah, God forbid they give you, like, no information, then you just have to go around the town and hope and pray that you find where they're looking for. On top of that, they could even have it be, like, randomized. Like, where could they possibly be? They could be in, like, 4 different places. But no, here they are. Love that everybody else is just like not interested in what this confrontation is going to be. We do get into a bit of a fight.
There's the enemy.
10 seconds.
Fortunately, they don't use their actual
Crescent
sprites.
wave. Crescent wave. Crescent wave.
They're not difficult, though. Rena's able to deal with it on her own.
Was a waste of time.
So yeah, trying out that sword didn't even mean that there was going to be like a unique enemy who had significantly higher attack power. So we got the sword back. But what about Gamgee? Oh. And now we have to do a brief flashback. Which is strangely, they decide to do it in red. Just like a red filter on top of it. Honestly, don't know why they would choose that. Some sort of visual cue, but could have done it they could have just left it grayscale. Yeah, okay, where is he? And so we find him in some sort of gutter. No, we're able to find him somewhere. Don't worry about that. Before that point, though, yeah, you can kind of surmise that Rena didn't see that first match, and at this point, the 6th match has just ended. So Diaz is running out of time. Oh. Default because he has no weapon? Well, Diaz is coming. Don't worry. He'll totally mess you up. So yeah, as the tournament goes on, they kind of recognize, like, oh yeah, you're an entrant. I saw you fight. You're pretty good. I'm gonna keep watching you. So let's take a mini tour as we go around here. I didn't want this to be a guys thing. I wanted this to be a date. Pokemon Stadium. It's a red-hot battle. Oh, don't mind the old men. They're just infused with the white-hot intensity of a battle. Nope. No thank you, Lucy. Yeah, and look at all of these people who is like, okay, do you have a seat in the Coliseum, or are you just here because you can be here? Clearly you have a ticket because you had to get through the line. Got this cheer group who is not cheering on a person anymore because they lost in the first round. And even these two, who are literally named he and she. Like you... I'm not even going to spend time on names. You're just pronouns now. Now the thing you probably like would expect is to find a specific character at the tournament because he's supposed to, otherwise we would be able to like do something else at this point. And that's supposed to be Professor Klasner from Linga. Because again, he's supposed to be here. On top of this question mark guy who is literally talking about game tutorials. You get a bunch of tutorials out of this one, like how if you use killer moves more, you will get better versions of those killer moves. And these twins, Aki, Kiki, and Saki, who you really have to talk to in a very specific order. You do see the sponsors around, which is an acceptable touch because, yeah, they're going to want to make sure that they are sponsoring good people and that they win the tournament because they want to win the tournament for their business. But yeah, like Dr. Klasner, Keith, is not here. You can't talk to him, which is kind of a missed opportunity there. In order to say, it's like, yeah, you're here for the tournament, but when you get back to Linga, can we set up a meeting? Like something very small. Doesn't have to be huge, but just something. Even the tour guide that was at the top of Lacour Castle is here. Even though you can't talk with any of them except the guide. And we do get a name for the kid, Leon. So if you did not have any sort of confirmation of what his name was, yeah, Leon. All right. So everything moves forward when we get back to our party, with Claude awkwardly just like standing to the side. Well, the reason for that is that they put the girls on the left side and the boys on the right. So if you had Ashton, Ashton would be by Claude's side. So, first round, 7th match has now concluded. I want to go into the waiting room. I have someone who's an entrant, but no. Now we should be hopefully good. Do they make it in time? Do have a weapon. But yeah, having some sort of actual confirmation that it's the weapon I'm supposed to have registered, then it's good. So they literally put the matches of like, yeah, Diaz is going last in the 8th round. Yeah, there's a couple bits and pieces in terms of Rena, just because, yeah, instead of specifically going with that. And with Rena's perspective, we even get to see other people fight in the arena, which Claude weirdly doesn't. So let's meet back up with them. He did the thing. Yes, it was a good job. Yeah, they think they would have posted when everybody was going to be fighting and who. All right. Time for Diaz. Oh look, it's a same but different guy. He's silver, not gold. Thomas Nelson. What a fantastic name. Like, Emil Blegovich from the previous round was a better name. I can't imagine what it was,
You're in the way.
like, what the original Japanese would have been
Crossway.
for them to translate into just like, okay, we
Crossway.
need a name for the
Crossway.
fighters in this tournament.
That was a waste.
You think Diaz is going to take damage from the likes of these people? Absolutely not. I just love the cheering mess of pixels. The amalgamation. There we go. Completely obliterated. Hey, where'd the other guy go? What other guy? Moving on. God, you're really lowering the stakes here. And we're into the second round. I feel bad for the soldiers a little bit because when you have the entrants being able to wander around the Coliseum in order to see everything, kind of gets annoying there in order to go, it's like, okay, now we have to round everybody up in order to do the next round. Oh boy.
Yes!
Feels like a logistics nightmare. Especially when they presumably are wielding their weapons that they're using for fighting in a room full of people. One of them can go crazy and snap at any moment. If you're paying close attention, yeah, you did see a sprite that looks like Grandpa Gamgee. Turns out it's him. He's just on the other side of the arena. Yep, can't talk to anybody here. Nope. Alright. What am I stuck on? It's an annoying curve. So yeah, Sophia and Gamgee showed up. But you know, like, what actually happened to you, sir? We literally get no answer. It's just like, okay, whatever happened to him that made him mysteriously vanish, now he's here. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Move on with the story. All right. Time for round 2 with Claude. There's not much really, like, they give you the opportunity in order to prepare, but there really isn't much to prepare with, except when your entry is that. So this is Dole Adden. He's a big monkey man. How did this person, how did this thing register? I have some questions about the registration credentials and standards here, where it's literally anybody can go here, and you've kind of noticed that it's like, yeah, he packs a punch for going and fighting here. 2 shots, and Claude could have been dead. So pay attention to that. Maybe keep your distance. Don't get risky. Really don't get risky. The other thing is that we're already going on to the semifinals. So, based on how this is being presented, Claude was in the first round in order to just start off the tournament. That means out of the multiple days and the lead up to the tournament that anybody who has like a will to fight can register for this tournament, only 16 actually did. Like it's only a round of 16. That's it. I really don't understand the scale and the lead up to this tournament, and what actually is being presented to us right now does not add up, and it bugs me. It really does, because this is really their big moment. They put in a lot of like intricacy and time and focus into the whole thing, and we're just like really flashing through the whole thing. Diaz is already going into the finals of the second round with Irwin, and it seems so fast. Like, I guess we don't have time, and I guess it's not really important in order to like introduce all of these characters who are just tournament fodder, and we have to deal with them. But the fact that this is like the biggest tournament in the world, everybody's excited about it, and shows that they're excited about it and disappointed when they're not able to see it, only for 16 people to register when anybody can.
Crossway.
Like,
That's all.
it's strange. And with this, we're already fast-tracked from having 16 fighters, and now we are down to 4 with the semifinals. All leading up to the destined fight between Claude and Diaz. I don't know why watching is within those specific articles. Like, she's not quoting anything. I guess it's for emphasis. And here's the difference. Like, okay, if you're Claude playing through this, then you have to fight through all of the fights here. But from Rena's perspective, Claude gets a free pass in the semifinals only, even though the text here is wrong. He's moving on to the finals with this one. So that was something that was missed. So yeah, with Claude and Claude's perspective, you have to play 3 fights before you get to the finals. Rena, only 2. And the other thing, or not even 2, only 1. And the thing about the one fight in Rena's perspective that you see, you don't have control of Claude. It is automatically controlled, which makes it a gamble whether or not he's actually going to win or not. So that third fight, the semifinal fight, let's actually see it against another really questionable entrant. Does this person have a piece of the sorcery globe as well? Alan, is that you? Jose Duran. What a name. He's also a tough fight, because like with Dole Adden before him, he packs a punch, and the problem with Claude is just his general attack speed. So the safest thing you can possibly do is keep your distance. Make sure you're at long range as much as possible. If you have Gale, the combat speed upgrade, you might want to put a couple of skill points into that so that you're able to move across the field a little bit faster, because yeah, you don't want to be dealing with him. That swipe just like wildly does damage. It can do anywhere between 300 to 800 damage. So hopefully you have been maybe leveling up a little bit. But again, you could be in the position where you have done no leveling, and Claude is at level 13 maybe at this point, like he was the first time I ran into this part here.
Air slash.
It's not a fun situation.
Air slash. Are you
Yeah,
hurt?
you just don't want that guy near you whatsoever.
Hey.
And with dealing with that demon, he's ready for the finals. But what if Diaz doesn't win his match? Alright, back in the waiting room. Sure, you had all the foresight. Xanda's literally doing nothing other than that. Other than there. Yeah, again, some text boxes are just not correct. But then again, they're in the waiting room, so they really don't have an idea of the passage of time? But yeah, if you're heading into the final match, more people are going to be noticing that it's like, hey, Claude, you're doing pretty good. Claude getting some fans. Ooh. Not a lot of the dialogue across the audience has really changed, but it is Claude's first opportunity to see Gamgee himself. Again, from his perspective, there's no context behind it. But you can figure it out. Yep, old man's still enthusiastic. Better watch out. I don't know what your blood pressure's like. You would think that the cheering group would also cheer for someone else, but nope, they don't. There's even our sponsor down there. Yeah, she's just enjoying the ride. There's a little bit of stakes with this, because if we do take the championship, we do have an opportunity to see the King of Lacour early, whatever that means. It's floaty, but at least we have some benefit. And that all depends on whether or not Diaz wins his match. Against another armored dude. Semi-final of Destiny. Grondo Rawless. Good old Grondo. Where do you pull a name like that? Like, where are you on the localization team where it's just like, I just need a name. I don't know. I'm just like in bed. It's like 10:30. I'm just like, I know a name, and I have to write it down immediately before I go to bed. Oh wait, there was a fight? Couldn't even tell. Yeah, of course Diaz is not losing to someone named Grondo. That'd be funny, though. He's won his way here, Diaz has. Don't need to speak like that, though. Well, you better, otherwise we have done this whole thing for nothing. And I think that Claude would even begin to throw the fight, even though we are controlling him. Now, just as a tidbit, I also had to see what Ashton was dealing with this kind of cheering section. And Ashton just says, "It's a fight." I'm like, yes, it is, Ashton. You know what's going on. Good job. I mean, how could we forget anything? Well, we're pretty good. But now we get to have heated rivalry talk. He's getting into your head. Don't let him do that. I will slit your throat. You're done. You're done. Claude's like, I am very looking forward to you slitting my throat, sir. All right. The grand finale. We had so many contenders this year. It's come down to this. At least we get the serious music. So, fighting Diaz, one-on-one. We're kind of not really on equal footing here. When you actually fight him, yeah, you notice that you do 0 damage. A lot of people kind of were wondering, is like, can you actually damage Diaz at all in this fight? And the answer is kind of no. If you're wondering about using the attack vial in order to do more damage, unfortunately, it doesn't really work. And on top of that, you can't use any skills. The violence pill, that's my way out of this, so that Diaz doesn't defeat me. Because if you're not sure what the violence pill does, the violence pill does one of two things. And it's a dice roll whether or not it actually does a good thing or a bad thing. Either it will fully restore your HP and MP, or it will kill you. Most of the time, the violence pill kills you. What a way to end a tournament. To be honest, the violence pill way of dealing with that fight isn't even like specifically like new. There's old forums that have that kind of strategy because it's just funny to do. So, we're back here with the fight against Jose because very interesting thing that you could do is you can lose. You always have the opportunity to lose during these fights here. Using the violence pill again, for instance. Yeah, you can lose. Which means that the demon will continue forward instead of you. What is this guy in the waiting room? No, I just activated that cyanide capsule that was in one of my teeth and just dealt with it. Oh, the fighting man doesn't even... He was betting on us getting to the finals, and we didn't make it. Ugh, what a shame. And yeah, that does mean that we have new dialogue there. As far as I would like to be like as extensive as possible, but because of like the tournament overall, there's so many more ways that we could lose. Like we could lose in the first round, we could lose in the second round, we could lose in any round. But overall, we're just looking at, hey, we can just lose. So let's look at the losing one as a whole. Yeah, no physical injuries, but I guess he wasn't looking at blunt force trauma. You were just punched to death. And yeah, that does mean that whoever you kind of lose to, Diaz then gets to fight. Here's the championship match, the two winners of the semifinals. Imagine giving the championship crown to the demon. What a fantastic concept.
Piece of junk.
Diaz doesn't even deserve the boss
Sword.
music.
Air slash.
Chaos sword.
Air slash.
Chaos
See,
sword.
isn't this wonderful? Like, okay, now you're actually hitting back. Like, otherwise you're just being a coward.
Air slash.
Never mind.
Chaos sword.
Man, wouldn't it be great if we had Diaz? Like, look at what he's able to do. Instead of being all this temporary, we're just like really advertised. Man, wouldn't it be great to have Diaz? So, no matter what, whether you win and get all the way to the finals or lose on the way there, Diaz will be the champion of the tournament. The thing with this is, which is the better, like, more accurate portrayal of the tournament? Is it Claude losing in the tournament before getting to Diaz? Or is it with that fight between him and Diaz at the finals? I kind of have my own opinions of them. But first, let's leave this, because the interaction between Claude and Diaz in both perspectives are interesting to experience. You have something to say? Say it. So deep, so edgy. So with losing before you even get there, there is really no talk between the two. Claude isn't just not getting there at all. And to be honest, I completely understand that, because Claude is, again, a character who is really inexperienced. He wants to prove himself, and this is a clear message of he has a lot to work to do. Which honestly is better character growth than earning a spot to do that. Because honestly, unless you are level grinding, the tactics of just like keeping your distance and kind of doing cheap shots, that doesn't really show that, yeah, you are really working with the system. It also matches with the player as well, because if you are not interacting with the systems in order to make Claude as good as he can possibly be, yeah, you're going to be creamed at this point in the game. You're probably underleveled, underskilled. You are matching what Claude is able to actually do. This also leads to a very unique instance because the award ceremony is about to happen, but Diaz just left. And we're going to go around the arena there and talk to a couple people because, yeah, the award ceremony is about to happen. And people are going like, wait, where's Diaz? Where's the winner? Where's the champion? Like, are we not doing the award ceremony right now? Like, and the answer is no. There is no award ceremony. So yeah, I find that there's a lot of merit behind losing in the tournament before getting to Diaz, both on Claude as a character and also the player's skills, especially playing this for the first time. They called him Diaz or something. Sure, dude. Unfortunately, some people just don't have new dialogue. It's kind of annoying there. Getting exciting, sure. Again, I'll stress again, there were only 16 entrants in the most popular tournament in the world. Gamgee's happy though. It's his weapon who won. Blame it on bad luck and you'll feel much better. Don't take responsibility and accountability for your actual skill. Put it to cosmic stuff. I wonder about talking with Lucy. Like, does she still want to be in love with me even though I lost? Apparently so. Still awkward. Nope. Keep your trophy. Diaz is not here for trophies. Are you cheering for Diaz now? Okay, you are. Lovely. Okay, how are he and she doing? About the same. Oh well, we still get compliments. We get our participation ribbon. Isn't that nice? Take all your belongings before you leave. We are not responsible for any lost or misplaced items. And so with that, after just kind of looking at the award ceremony simply not happening, we leave the Coliseum for one last text crawl. Claude fully aware of the gap between his skills and those of Diaz. It's really considered like the bad ending because we get that crawl like that. Because when you fight all the way to the finals, then it's honestly completely different. Like all of the other entrants who we never saw except for the first round person, they're all gone. And time has passed. I will say right now, the time of the awards ceremony about to happen, we're past that. So Claude has been out for a while. But strangely enough, Diaz just shows up. Well, what am I supposed to call you? Mr. Flack? I'll give you flack. So witty. Isn't he nice giving us 2-cent words? I had to get serious. You were doing 0 damage to me and I was able to see that 0? Man, you're good. Keep him at arm's length. I will hand you a restraining order that is all filled out. You just need to sign it. Depending on how you feel about the scene, maybe that's good enough for you. I will say, in terms of extended media, this is the one that kind of carries on, not the considered bad ending. Claude and Diaz are now rivals. Oh, she's been magically drugging me. Okay. Oh, right. We have an investigation to do. Right. What was that again? Oh, I guess we finally can talk with the professor and get the writings done. Ah, crazy. Crazy that we might be able to do that now. You're second place, dude. We do get a prize for second place, even though the award ceremony is technically over. So if we want to actually get that stuff, we need to go back to the weapon shop that sponsored us. So this instance, everybody's kind of gone. Everybody's gone home. That's why it feels like it's been a lot longer. Like, they're just cleaning up at this point. So it's a much different air to everything there. Gotta get who's left. Oh, dang, you were probably at like 12. Now you gotta count those again. And even though Diaz showed up in order to talk to us, he still didn't get to the award ceremony. Someone else took it in his stead. Yeah, only guards. Aw, same. I feel your pain, buddy. No, but I can take some of those lost things off your hands. Sell them, maybe. No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, all the people are gone. And that concludes the Tournament of Arms. We don't even get like a text crawl for that. So I guess it feels like better in that regard. So people will mostly talk about Diaz. Some people will talk about Claude. Some people will go, hey, here's the next place you have to go to. Or back to spouting tutorials. And even after all of this, the weapon shops still don't sell us weapons. Ooh, boy. All right. So, let's talk to our guy here. I don't know. If it was me, I have a second place winner. That's really good. So we do get the items that we used for the tournament. We don't get the actual, like, usable items. And we also get an additional 6,500 full. Since we did it twice, I'll also get to see our eccentric lady again, who loves blood, gut, and violence. Muscles, bleeding. Just give me my weapons and my money, please. Thank you. Of course, the defensive items, really not worth it. Might as well sell them. But maybe the sword is worthwhile to you. The tavern's a bit different. Talking about Claude. Yeah. So it's kind of nice that a lot of people are kind of going, like, yeah, when Claude wins second place, it's like, yeah, if he tries again next year, he might actually do it. The idea of the promising upstart. As the people in the Red Roof home are nowhere to be found, they've completely disappeared. But there is one more place to go to. And that is Grandpa Gamgee's store. And home, because there's his bed. It is beneficial to go here regardless of the perspective that you take. However, it's only beneficial if Claude gets second place. If he loses in the tournament, you actually lose out on a good reward from here. One of many lads, but yes. Claude's beginning career as a tournament fighter. Yeah, that's not happening, but what a different path he could have taken. Now, at first glance, it feels like we're actually getting the sword that Diaz used in the tournament. But it's not. It is separate. It is known as the Sharp Edge. The Sharp Edge is actually a very valuable weapon if you know how to use it. And I'm not talking about in combat in battle. I'm talking about with the skills system, crafting and customizing. Because if you use it properly, you are able to craft one of Claude's strongest weapons. I believe his third or second strongest weapon. Like, we're not going to do that because I want a little bit of a challenge. But it's finally time to divert our attention to somewhere else before we go to Linga, unfortunately so. The tournament arc is over, but we need to make a pit stop because at this point, there is a private action that we saw a long time ago that we can do a little bit more with. Three-eyed people. See you next time, everyone.